All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome into today's edition of In the Game. I am your host, Hustle. As always, we're going to be diving into the market, but most importantly today, I'm going to walk you through my altcoin portfolio that I think could set you up for this cycle. Now, I'm going to preface my risk tolerance is much different than others, and everyone plays with different size. So it's not definitely a one size fits all, but I'm going to go over exactly the narratives I'm betting on, what my allocations are into those projects, as well as why I'm getting into each of these niches in the respective size that I am, the projects that could play off of each other. So we'll go through all of that ideology and logic in this video and hopefully set you up with a portfolio structure that you can adapt to your own taste, to your own size, and to your own risk tolerance that could set you up for success this cycle. So without further ado, let's get in the game. And as always, guys, drop down, hit that like button, and subscribe for more every single week and day here on In the Game and on Crypto Banter. And as well, shout out to all of our sponsors here on In the Game. We have Vulcan Forge, Ultra, Dreams Quest, Game Starter, NordVPN, Moontropica, as well as our exchange partners. We have Bybit, BitGet, we have Mexi, we have Blowfin, as well as Avo. And if you're not signed up with Blowfin or Avo, no KYC on either of these exchanges. You can go on Blowfin. It's a centralized exchange for all of your trading needs. I know in the US, people are having trouble with some of those KYC exchanges. They are fickle with the laws and the jurisdictions. But then we also have Avo as well, which is a decentralized exchange. So links down below for all of our sponsors here on In the Game. And quickly, just the market's been performing well this week. You know, it's been a nice rebound for Bitcoin. Really like to see that. And across the board, there's some altcoins that have really had a nice week. We look here, Brett, which had caught so much FUD. And I talked about this on Twitter today. Brett caught so much FUD last month and has nearly bounced back 100% to where it was before the FUD. So major strength underneath the base narrative. And we'll get into my meme coin allocation of my portfolio here in just a bit. And you'll see potentially if Brett fits into that mold. We have Carrot, which has rebounded 45%, almost up to $1. So some crazy strength there for the 𝗦𝗞𝗄𝗏 token. We have Galazo up 20% this week, was another meme play we've given out here on the channel. We have Beam up 13%. So some pretty solid bounces across the board, but truly the opportunities out there for altcoins are still out there to be had. And a lot of these prices and dips are still in very good buying territory, which is why, in my opinion, today sets up nicely for us to go through the ultimate altcoin portfolio for this cycle. Now, like I said, I'm going to preface my risk tolerance is different than most people's. Okay. I am willing to spread into more projects and be able to hopefully take advantage of different narratives, different blockchains getting pumps, different platforms that are having their ecosystem time period of bullishness, as well as different narratives like AI, real world assets, L1s, gaming, etc. So let's just jump into it. We'll get the boring stuff out of the way very quickly. And if you enjoy this type of content, guys, links down below. I always want to help you guys, set you up to win, be able to catch some of these allocations. And we're going to go through exactly, why have I spread so many 1% bets into some games, but I also have 6 to 8% bets on different games? Well, we'll go over that here in just a second. First and foremost, as far as L1s go, the first L1 that I am allocating into for this cycle is pretty easy. It's Solana. We go over here, take a look at Sol. It's been one of the best performers so far this cycle. And this is where a lot of memes live currently. And if you go down to my meme coin allocations here, you can see that I have 3 Solana memes in my portfolio here for you today. So what I'm going to do, I'm betting on Sol as far as an all-around chain, the meme casino, and I'm also betting on it for gaming. There's a couple of Solana games here in my portfolio, so we will dive into those as we get there. But first and foremost, Solana has to be in your portfolio, I think, for this cycle. It's a no-brainer, as well as Avalanche. So look, this is an altcoin portfolio. I want to make that very, very clear. So when I'm talking about this, look, I have Bitcoin in my portfolio. I have some Ethereum in my portfolio, but I think your risk reward is much better served in stuff like Solana and stuff like Avalanche. So specifically speaking, I want to make it very, very clear. Like I said, this is a degen portfolio. This is not a one size fits all. This is all on your risk tolerance, and this is a risk taking portfolio, and that's what we're here for, right? We want to make the most of this cycle at the end of this cycle to be able to say we made out with the most gains as possible. And I don't know that Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to give you that, especially if you're playing with a smaller size portfolio, right? Not everyone has $1 million to put into the market, so your size is going to vary. So take that for what it is. But I'm going into Solana and AVAX. AVAX with the subnets, they have Shrapnel, they have Off the Grid, they have a bunch of different quality games coming to the space. They have a meme coin, narrative as well on Avalanche. I think Solana and Avalanche are no-brainer L1s to allocate into this cycle and just set and forget. So I'm going 8% into those in total, and that brings my L1 allocation to 16%. So 16% into those L1s. Now let's get into gaming. You guys know I'm a gaming bull. And, it goes without saying that gaming has been slow so far this cycle. And, a lot of the saturation in the space is heavy. And that makes sense. Look how many gaming tokens are going to be in this portfolio. I have 15 gaming tokens in this portfolio, guys. So, obviously, it is a very saturated niche at this point in time. And I have to say, it's really hard to pick and choose between all of these different projects at this point in time. And I think there's one that we're going to add as we go through here because it is one of those things. It's hard to allocate across the gaming space right now. And looking at the Epic Game Store is one of the best ways to put it, right? Imagine betting on games when you have all of these to choose from, and then there's 87 of them, right? So you're betting on the 1 or 2 games to come out of the pile that are going to be the winners. It's almost impossible. And if we go back over here to Nexus and we scroll through, look how many Web3 games we have. And this probably isn't even all of them, right? So many Web3 gaming products that we're just scrolling through here. And it's nearly endless. So it's really hard to go through here and pick, which one of these is going to be the hit. I can guarantee you lots of venture capital firms in traditional gaming went broke trying to bet on what is the next Fortnite, right? So don't be that guy who puts all of your portfolio into a single game. Usually that does not work out. You become a maxi, and being a maxi in any facet is not a good thing, right? Bitcoin maxis, they've made nicely, but a lot of them have all allocated into altcoins, right? Ethereum maxis, they've figured out that Solana has a use case, right? Gaming maxis have figured out that AI narrative is probably going to have higher yield this cycle. People who are not meme coin people have to understand meme coins are going to produce results this cycle. So it's just one of those things. You have to come to a realization on that. It's really hard to pick a single game to be the absolute kingmaker out of the cycle. But what you can do is you can bet on infrastructure. Imagine having to pick between all of these games on the Epic Game Store, or you could just invest in Epic Games, which has Fortnite, Rocket League, Fall Guys, Epic Game Store, Unreal Engine, all these different things. It makes it a lot easier when you can just bet on the entity that's overarching on everything in the activity in that ecosystem. It's like placing a bet on Activision or Epic or Riot or all these different developers in the gaming world. That's a much easier bet. So my highest allocations in the gaming space are going to be infrastructure, right? Let's go through these one by one. Beam. Easy one. I've been talking about Beam for quite some time. I'm going to go 6% into Beam. I think that's a very smart play at this point in time. At a 1.4 billion market cap, I could see this one springboarding to a 10 billion market cap this cycle absolutely easily, and that'll yield me great results. By going top heavy into the best projects in gaming, you're setting yourself up for nice returns. And then these 1% bets we're going to get into, guys, I'm going to show you exactly why. 1 of them, 2 of them hits, you're going to be set up for a lucrative altcoin cycle when gaming has its day. And look, I think gaming's day's around the corner. We have Pixelmon's TGE coming up. We have off-the-grid playtesting, off-the-grid token launch, off-the-grid nodes coming to the market. A lot of good stuff coming in the gaming space. So I do think we see a run this summer in the gaming landscape. So we have Beam. I'm going to go into Ronin for 6%. Look, Ronin has proven itself to be the best blockchain in gaming. And whenever they open up their chain to the public, which is about to happen, by the way. I think that Ronin is going to have a hell of a narrative whenever that happens, whenever the floodgates open and everyone shows that the games that don't have a base partnership or something like that, they're all going to move over to Ronin because they want to capture that Ronin user base because it's been so loyal between Axie and Pixels, the Machines Arena, these different games that they've come through with the, on the Ronin chain. The loyalty of their holders and the loyalty of that community is so strong that any gaming project who isn't married to a chain, they're going to come flocking into the Ronin chain. So I'm absolutely betting on Ronin this cycle. I'm putting 6% in Super as well. Look, like I said before, a lot of people, when we're looking at Ronin, we have a 1 billion market cap, 3 billion fully diluted. I don't see how this one doesn't hit like $20 this cycle, to be completely honest with you. When we're talking about market cap, that's about a 6x, like a 6 billion for the biggest crypto gaming blockchain. I think it's a no-brainer. And then we go down, and I'm going to put 6% into Super. At 500 M's, I see this being a 5 million. I think $10 is a realistic price target when we're talking about Super this cycle. And as you see down here, I listed the games and the narratives that some of these that are still uncovered, or they're still like covered up. There's a few super narrative games in this portfolio that I think are going to really benefit when Super has a run, or vice versa. If these games have a run, Super could be the benefactor. And look, I know everything Elio's doing behind the scenes. I think that Super is going to be a very, very good bet for anyone allocating into gaming this cycle. We have Zentree. Zentree is the sleeper of this bunch, right? You have Ronin, king of the gaming chains. You have Beam. You have Super, but I do truly think that Zentree could be a huge play. Like, I would be super surprised if this doesn't hit 1 billion or 2 billion this cycle, currently at about 3.5, 4 cents. I think it's a really good play. The multi-layer for gaming. I mean, they have AI integration, SocialFi, multiple games coming to the chain. I think that Zentree is going to be one of the best bets you can make. And at that lower market cap, I'm going to allocate a little lower capital. I'm going to go 4% into Zentree. All right, let's keep it going here. And this might make some people mad. I'm actually going to, and I'll do this in a second when we get down here. I'm going to lower my allocation here. Right now, I have 3% into IMX. And look, IMX is great. I'm not here to piss anyone off. IMX's community is great, etc. But right now, they're banking on the fact that they have 200 games, but the chain really doesn't work that well. It's not the best user experience. And half the games on there, actually 75% of the games on IMX aren't even live. So like, we don't really know what to expect. What if the user experience just gets worse when the chain is more congested? It's just really hard to bet on. And look, I get it. IMX's business model, the team, great. I've talked to the team plenty of times. I've had Robbie on the show. Robbie's a super, super sharp guy. But I've just heard from multiple projects, it's not the best project experience. I know from myself on the user side, it's not the best user experience. And yeah, I will be lowering my allocation to 2% here, but we'll get there whenever I add a project to this portfolio. Next up is going to be Prime. I'm going 4% into Prime, and that's only at this size. So like, knowing what we know, when we got into Prime in the bear market, $2.77, I gave you guys Prime. It's about a 6-7x since that price, about a 7x. I would have gone heavier knowing what we know now, right? And even today, I would go 4% into Echelon Prime, thinking that it's going to go to $100. That's a 6x from here. That 4% can turn into an initial of 24% of your bag. So like, you see the power of this. If these numbers inflate to where we think they can this altcoin cycle, I think you're going to make out like a bandit betting these small percentages on some of these projects that still have massive growth potential. Like if Super 10x's, that could be accounting for 60% of your initial portfolio. So you could see the power of scaling heavy into your favorite bags and then having also smaller bets here between different games. So we're going to uncover a couple of these games at a time. We have 𝗟𝗏 and PYR. So a lot of people want new cycle tokens, and there's going to be plenty of new cycle tokens in this, right? We have Prime, we have Zentry, we have Ronin, we have Beam. So a lot of new cycle projects in here, but Altura and PYR, I think, will catch a bid this bull market. Altura has so much coming out with their campaigns and their SocialFi and integrating with new chains, integrating with new games. Vulcan Forge, shout out to them. They've been a long-time sponsor here, but we've been long-time conviction and holders. We rode up last bull market up to $40. We've been in since $2.50 here in the bear market. And to be quite honest with you, the Elysium chain, Rebel cars, everything they have going on, I'm super bullish on what PYR has been doing. So I am keeping my conviction there, and I will absolutely be having them in my stack. So that is that. And I'm going to uncover a couple of these at a time that are underneath the same narrative. So as you see, I have some narratives listed here. Prime, they're building with Base and Soul. So when Base and Soul have runs, you could possibly eventually see some runs underneath Prime as the AI game is building with Solana and parallel trading card game is building with Base, right? Well, Superverse is partnered up with many games. Like I said, Shrapnel, Off the Grid, My Pet Hooligan, etc. And actually, speaking of, I can move this one up here and I can add Super, and I will go ahead and uncover this one, which is 𝗏𝗏𝗏. So we have Citus, Wilder World, and 𝗏𝗏𝗏, which is My Pet Hooligan's token. And you're probably amazed. My Pet Hooligan just launched, okay, last month, but the vesting is so favorable to retail, right? There's a 6-month cliff, 24-month vest. So the dilution, only like 10% of the supply, 12% of the supply is going to be released in the first year. So we have another 11 months, and there's only going to be like 12% of the supply going into the circulation, which makes 𝗏𝗏𝗏 a very friendly retail token. They have AI integrations as well. Same thing with Prime. That's why it's a heavier allocation. There's the AI integrations. But Citus, Wild, and 𝗏𝗏𝗏, these all could benefit off the Super narrative too, because they're all working with Superverse. So we see here, if Super pumps, you could see pumps from all three of those. But then again, if one of these has a huge run or a huge news event, you could possibly see Super have a pump. It's the same thing last cycle when we saw Cardano had a run. All of a sudden, Cardano tokens had a run. Polkadot, then the ecosystem has a run. Solana, and then the ecosystem. AVAX, and then the ecosystem. It's a rinse and repeat process. So my portfolio is heavily structured around narratives within these niches. So absolutely love Citus. And at this market cap, I mean, let me find where Citus is right now. Like, I think it's a great buy. $66 million market cap. I could actually see it reaching $1 billion this cycle. So that's about a 16x from here, current prices. And then Wilder World, they've just been pushing so much quality, partnering up with Celestia, NVIDIA, etc. These three are no-brainer bets, in my opinion. And 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is really the only newer token that I'm comfortable, like, long-term bag holding type of thing. I think you need to be taking profits if you're getting in like launchpad rounds or something with some of these low float, high dilution tokens. And then here on the Solana narrative, you guys know what this one is. It's Crown. I'm heavily betting on Crown. They're a revenue generating business. It's in the horse racing side. Their community is every single day playing the game. The amount of races, the amount of stables, all the numbers are super bullish here. I'm betting on Crown. When Solana has a run, you're going to see Crown absolutely front and center in the gaming narrative. And then we'll uncover two more here. We have S-Fund and Myria. And I still have major conviction. You need to have a launch pad in your portfolio, whether you're going with S-Fund, paid, whatever the case is. I'm going with S-Fund. Cetify is just the biggest, most notorious gaming launchpad. And now they're going into RWA and AI. So they're really opening up their doors to other niches and other projects, which I really like. And then Myria. I still have conviction in Myria. I think Myria is going to do very well this cycle. And it's another one I'm very comfortable putting 1% of my portfolio in. And then the next three, and really the final three, but I'm going to add one here, are going to be playable games, Moontropica, and Domi Online. What do all three of these have in common? They're underneath the same narrative, Avalanche/Beam. So, Hustle, what do you mean the same? Because Beam is different than Avalanche. Well, funny you say. Beam is an Avalanche subnet. So if AVAX runs and Beam runs, you're going to see both AVAX and Beam tokens do the exact same thing. So they're a leveraged play on Avalanche. So you have your Avalanche bag, which is going to appreciate when AVAX season comes. All of a sudden, your Beam's going to do well because it's very closely attached to Avalanche. Shout out to Avalanche, the pillow in the background there. But Playable Games is built on an Avalanche subnet. Domi will be using Avalanche. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is one of Beam's premier games. So all three of those fall into that category. And right now, all three of these are less than, I mean, these market caps are tiny right now. I know that. Domi, 11 mil. Playable Games, 10 mil. And then we have 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 sitting at 45 mil. So I'm going to put 1% into each of those, with the conviction that I genuinely think if one of those 10, 20, 30 X's, you're going to be set up for this cycle by far. And then the one I am adding is Ultra. I'm still super convicted into Ultra. It is a part of my portfolio. And I think Project Citadel, their upcoming first-person shooter, is the thing that could really take them to the next level. So I am into Ultra. That is my gaming stack that I'm going to recommend as far as today. And obviously, guys, this is never financial advice. I'm just kind of giving you the playbook of what I think could be a strong altcoin portfolio for this cycle. I'm 41% into gaming. Despite me allocating into other niches, my gaming conviction is still there. And 41% of my liquid portfolio is in gaming. Now, I want to make this very clear. I am not including venture investments in this, okay? Like, I got in Carrot early, but you know, I've invested in Portal, Block Games, 50 games this cycle. Okay, I've gotten into a lot of different early rounds this cycle, but the one thing is, I don't consider that a piece of my long-term portfolio, right? Like, you're definitely playing those for the explosive launch and the explosive upside that those do provide if you get in early, but I'm not including my early rounds here. The only one I've included in my portfolio that I'm confident in with the dilution schedule and the releases is going to be Carrot. All right, let's move on to the fun stuff. We have AI. I'm going 7% into GPU. I think this one, the retail ticker, GPU is just such a nice fit as far as getting out in front of retail. So 7% into GPU. I think this has a lot of NVIDIA pumponomics. When NVIDIA pumped last week and had their earnings, GPU went to $1.60. It's about $1.30 today. I think that's a really good bet. I'm 6% into OPSEC. I think that OPSEC is another one that should definitely be a part of your portfolio. Blender, I'm going 4% into. This one kind of has mixes of render and GPU, different types of utility from both of those. So I do really like Blender. I like render, and I got in early. So now if I was allocating into render, it's kind of like, I'd say it's kind of like my IMX bet. Like, I'm only going 2% into IMX because it's the biggest of all of these gaming coins. So there's less upside there. Same kind of thing with render. I think it's a nice anchor. I think it should be a part of your, portfolio. But at the same time, I don't think you should allocate too heavily into that. Let's just say that. And I'm going to add one here in just a second. I think Desync, Destra Network. Let's go over to the AI watch list here. I think Desync at about 250, 230, or like, 250, 270 million market cap. I think this one's a really good play as well. When we look at the month, it's had a really strong month. It has a lot of influencer support. So GPU, OPSEC, Blender, Render, and Desync, I think are 5 very strong AI bets. But one I'm going to add here, I'm just going to go 1%. Kind of like Render. I'm going into 𝗏 because I think 𝗏 should be in your portfolio. It's got a crazy narrative behind it. People call it the Bitcoin of AI. So I am going to put between my portfolio 3% into Render and 𝗏, but with the understanding that they're higher market cap. So they might not give you those crazy multiples on that upside. And then 2 low market cap AI tokens. I'm still in BAI and I'm still in YAI, guys. These low market caps are volatile. The NVIDIA earnings didn't pump AI altcoins like as crazy as we all thought they would. And when you're talking about 𝗚𝗚 at 11 million and then balance AI, it's like 15 million. These are going to be way more volatile than something that's like a 200 or a $100 million market cap. So I'm being patient. I'm still in those low caps. Those low caps, if they 5, 10x, that's going to be a huge win for the entirety of this portfolio. So I am definitely allocating into those. So my AI bags, GPU, OPSEC Blender, Render, Desync, Tau, BAI, YAI. So I'm in 8 AI projects in this portfolio. I'm only going to allocate into one RWA. I'm going to go into Mantra, 𝗚𝗚𝗠. I think this one could 5 to 10x, which could account for, this could account basically for, a 15% initial of your portfolio. If it 5x's from here, that's all you really need. So I'm definitely going to be in 𝗚𝗚𝗠 for this cycle. I'm in BoxBet. The only GambleFi project I'm going to include in today's portfolio. Full disclosure, this is not my current exact stack. Some things have already multiplied from the bottoms, but if I'm getting into the market right now, this is how I would allocate it. So I do still have bags of other projects, but when I'm looking at BoxBet, it's been the strongest. It's holding that 16-cent price. GambleFi just hasn't been that hot this cycle, but BoxBet, there's some rumors that they have some crazy backers that are unannounced, and I'm going to keep my 1% there into BoxBet. And then, last but certainly not least is Memecoins. Look, when I post about Memecoins on Twitter, the salties come out, as Ram would call them, the salties. People don't like memes. Like, people feel like meme coins are sucking liquidity out of the quality projects. People think that memes are bad for crypto. But at the same time, like, if we ignore memes, you're not going to make money this cycle. Like, no matter how much research we do, we find quality projects with quality utility, bro. Retail doesn't care. They just want to go into the meme coins and get those quick gains, right? So embrace it, be a part of the culture. I'm allocating 12% of my portfolio here to memes. And my thesis is pretty simple. I'm betting on chains. So Foxy is going to be my Linea bet. So the Fox is the MetaMask logo. MetaMask and Consensus are behind Linea. Foxy is not associated with MetaMask or Linea, but the Fox is the MetaMask logo. This just makes too much sense to me. It's already the biggest meme coin on Linea. When that airdrop comes through, I think people are going to degen and they're going to find Foxy as a really good bet. As far as my memes on Solana, we talked about it up here. I'm allocating 8% into Solana because it's the casino chain, right? There's gaming, there's DeFi, there's meme coins. There's so much going on here. So I'm going 1% into the King. I'm going into WIF, 1% just for a stable meme coin in my portfolio. I'm going 2% into Gummy. That is obviously the native token that actually incubated by Crypto Banter. I'm going 2% into Gummy. I think this one has such good fundamentals, such good just narrative behind it. I can't fade it. I'm going 2% into Gummy. And actually, let's play with this a little bit, because I can't lie. Let's add 𝗏𝗏 in here, because I am also a little bit allocated into 𝗏𝗏. What we're going to do, we're going to go 1% into 𝗏𝗏. We're going to go 1% into Gummy, and we're going 1% into Golazo, which I think could have a huge run this summer around like the Euros, Copa America, the Olympics. Like, I think there's a lot of good narratives. The Champions League finals, the Golazo token, it's so closely associated with football, aka soccer. I think that is going to be my Solana meme stack. This one might be a little boring. 𝗏𝗏, I'm going 1%. 𝗏𝗏 is the best meme out of all of these. Like realistically speaking, 𝗏𝗏 the Frog is the most culturally relevant meme, even at its valuation. And look, if you guys remember in the bear, we caught 𝗏𝗏 at 30 million market cap. We 55x'd. I did exit my position completely there, but I think allocating 1% into 𝗏𝗏 to ride off the ETH narrative is definitely a strong point. And I'm going highest into Sol memes because that's where the action is right now. So I have a Linea meme. I have 4 Solana memes. I have an Ethereum meme. And then what we started the show with, I am still in Brett. Look, I think Brett, it's so impressive what's just gone down. I'm going 4% into Brett. And it's super impressive to see it weather the FUD. Like, there was so much FUD around the founders and hidden wallets and all this BS. And to be completely honest with you, like, it's a negative thing, but the culture don't care. The culture will tell you who's going to be a winner, and they have been picking Brett. That's for sure. When we go look here at the Master Gaming watch list, Brett up 63% this week, like 30% on the day. Absolutely insane numbers. And, the culture is choosing Brett, Brett. So I'm in 4% on Brett. That's going to be my biggest meme coin allocation behind, and then it goes Foxy, and then I'm equally across with Gummy, Tucker, Golazo, and Pepe. I think Brett's got a lot of upside even from here. I could see it at a multi-billion-dollar market cap once Base eventually does their airdrop. And look, like I said in this tweet, my meme coin thesis, I'm betting on a few per chain. Capital rotations will work in your favor when liquidity trickles from blockchain to blockchain. Set it and forget it. Let the retail money pile in and be able to take profits at the end of the cycle. It is that simple. And if you didn't watch my profit taking video, I go over exactly how I scale out of these positions. I think it can be a big help as well when you're looking through this portfolio. But like I said, I am a risk averse person. I'm willing to take risks. I'm willing to spread my bets. And this is a portfolio, if you have the capital to allocate it into, I think is really going to be a huge win for you this cycle. I saw Miles do also one like this. And look, we have a lot of tokens in our portfolio, but it's all about the size of your portfolio, your risk tolerance. You might be the person, you only want to be in 5 to 10 tokens, and that's perfectly fine. My risk tolerance, I'm willing to spread bets. Like I said, I've been in 50 pre-sales this cycle already. So I'm willing to spread my eggs into different baskets, take advantage of different narratives, get involved with different pumps, and be able to ride these things up. So guys, let me know down below in the comment section, what are your favorite projects here? What's your risk tolerance? Are you spreading your bets? Are you consolidating your portfolios? Because I have high conviction in every project on this list. Obviously, a lot of them that we talk about here on the shows pretty consistently. So let me know your thoughts down below of how your portfolio is structured. And as mentioned, this is an altcoin portfolio, no Bitcoin, no Ethereum, and this is never financial advice. So just a disclosure there. Shout out to our sponsors once again, Blowfin, no KYC exchange. We have Avo, which is a decentralized exchange. You can trade options, perps, all that good stuff, as well as DreamsQuest. They've been pushing a lot of different updates here. I know that their mobile app is on the way as well. And it's just been impressive to see them weather the storm as well during this bear market, staying alive. I know they have some really good stuff around the corner. I honestly can't talk too much about until it's live. So big shout out to DreamsQuest. Check them out if you haven't already. Links down below for all of our sponsors. And as always, guys, I'll be back next week with more videos. Play well, my friends.